One of the most important videos you may actually watch in the crypto YouTube space, and I mean it. We're going to look at the BTC dominance chart because I think it is vitally important, and I also think you are doing things wrong if you're thinking in a different way. So let me explain before you start clicking off the video and going, what on earth? The BTC dominance, I'm going to come onto this in a second in terms of where I think it's going to go, my plan, and how you can get set up so you understand it at least to look at your portfolio in a different way. It's important to know this, right? I've talked about this recently on my Patreon. I've talked about this on Learning Crypto for years now. You need to understand this chart for timing purposes. Now, there's different metrics to kind of go on as well. I will go over that. But the soundbite within this is always about, is BTC wealth? Is it whatever it is, store of value, right? My personal belief is I look at my portfolio. So when I'm on my Delta raft, for example, I toggle it to BTC. I want to grow my Bitcoin, right? Essentially, I just want to grow it because the more BTC I've got, usually the more underlying kind of USD I've got because it doesn't move as much. Yes, it does move, but it's nowhere near as volatile, right? Wealth will create that kind of stamina when you have it. Put it that way, risk appetite. So when we're looking at this is quite a while ago, and I think this is an interesting post, even though it's on a random Reddit, right? It's an interesting post because this was a video that went out quite a while ago now, stating that obviously the hype of altcoins, the existence of, BTC and the mentalness of the space, NFTs, metaverse, ICO booms, all kinds of stuff, right? But you've also got to think that in the past, a lot of things do die off and they do vanish, right? So this is interesting to note that the word is sell your altcoins into BTC. And I'm going to take it a step further and explain why you could profit a lot on a lot of altcoins, which is what I do. So I progressively buy altcoins low and I sell them into USD or into BTC. And I'm going to explain my reasonings for that. Now, let's talk about a few things. This is an interesting post. And I also like this as well in terms of the disagreement of it. A lot of people do disagree, and they always do. A lot of people come to me going, well, why do you recommend Bitcoin? I don't recommend you buying Bitcoin high. I recommend you buying and leveraging altcoins for those volatility moves. I'm going to explain why in this video, how you can do it. And then you can then accumulate BTC without any underlying cost. Because BTC technically, to get one, it's quite a lot of money, right? But it could be worth it if you stick with the course. Now, there's a few metrics to look at. The first one and the most obvious one is the fear and greed, right? Simple. When there's fear in the market, people become bearish. When there's euphorical kind of buzzy feelings, people become bullish. You need to flip that upside down. And it's the same with this indicator as well, which I want to explain. The altcoin index. Everyone keeps saying to me, and it really annoys me, why has there been no alt season? We've actually been in an alt season since 2020, and I will explain why in a second. But to use this chart as well, to give you a better idea, it's becoming into a BTC season, which is why this metric is important. Basically, a lot of people are selling their altcoins in fear, and they are selling into stables, and they're selling into BTC, therefore diluting it, therefore increasing the BTC dominance, therefore you are losing your Satoshis. You may want to write that down. Anyways, when we talk about this, I need to explain it. So BTC.D, now if you're an Ethereum lover, you can do it with Ethereum. Just put ETH.D, right? Now, I personally believe, now this is what I believe, right? Not financial advice. I feel we are going to start traveling back up soon. I feel we are going to go in and around this region between 52% and 60%. That would give us a very, very nice platform to work with. Now, how does it work? When this is going up, it would increase Bitcoin strength, therefore weakness in the BTC pairs of your Satoshi levels, i.e. every single chart you've got, you will have a Ethereum / BTC. Basically, alt / BTC. Now, people get confused with this. You can look at that overall as a market price. So you got obviously USD, for example, or the BTC pairs, or actually you can actually go with Ethereum or other ones too. Now for me, I like to focus on USD, but when the market's high. When the market is low, I will then flip my narrative over, especially when I look at this, because usually what will happen is if the market is very, very low, the BTC dominance will go up because naturally, I've said it before, people will be selling their altcoins into stables, therefore still lose out a little bit because of volatility, right? BTC always holds better. Now, we've already seen a bit of a pump. We're starting to move up a bit. Since that's happened, and let's just look at the dates here, from the 10th of January. Let's look at a few altcoins from the 10th of January. We're already seeing drops in the valuation of the BTC pairs. That is Cardano. Let's look at Avalanche. Again, if we look at this one from the 10th of January, we've got it here. There we go. From that point, it dropped. Obviously, it's risen as well there. Now, the one thing with this is, and I will say this quite a lot, this is just, as you can see, it's a very, very small movement. This is just a metric. It's an index chart, so not everything will behave the same. So you need to check your altcoin too. Now, let's look at the broader picture. If we are going to see a massive increase in this, we are going to start seeing those altcoin / BTC pairs drop a lot, right? This is where the problem is. You will be losing Satoshis by holding your altcoins without even realizing. You'll be losing USD, but actually sometimes it's better just holding Bitcoin and keeping those BTC units spare just in case it drops massive, because then you can rebuy with that BTC and then look to grow your BTC. Let me explain, because you're probably going to get confused. So let's just go to every single BTC pair, right? Let's have a little look at, well, what should we look at? Luna is a good example. So Luna has been mental, right? Absolutely parabolic. And you can see here from the 10th of January, boom, right? One of the main ones that's dropped quite a lot. Now, when we're looking at this, it's still quite high. Now, a lot of altcoins are like this. Now, if I just do the spacebar activity here, you're going to notice a lot of things that are relatively low. So Litecoin's not done very well. Avalanche has done well. Elrond did well, now came down. BNB still quite high. RSR not really done much. Dropped a lot. So you can see here the kind of stuff. There's a lot of random stuff here. But what my explanation is, we're going to see a lot of assets just drop quite significantly over time, especially when you look at the Ethereum one. Ethereum is the biggest weight as well. So if we start seeing Ethereum just melt, we will see that dominance go up, and then there'll be chain reactions of other altcoins that will follow in it. Now, when we look at this as well, this is a weekly time frame, bear with me. Where's my cursor gone up there for? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So if we're going to go from this impulse here, and where this top was, we've obviously corrected quite a significant chunk. But realistically, this could go a lot lower. Now, when I say keep your BTC, you should then be looking potentially to then rebuy back into these assets for, you know, further Ethereum, and then look to take profit utilizing this chart alone, therefore giving you some BTC. Now, how do I play the game? Now, this is how I do it, right? I have BTC. Cool. I have USD too. If BTC goes low, I will rebuy with USD to get more BTC that way too. Then I will utilize that BTC that I bought lower to then buy into these charts, i.e. into some altcoins with BTC when these have gone low. Now, let me just zoom out. Now, this is the price of the asset you are literally holding, right? Let me explain. I've explained this before. This is the core price, not the USD price. This is the core price, right? If you go onto CoinMarketCap, if you go on any asset and literally go onto this bit here and look at the price of it in BTC, if you literally put this, bear with me, my computer works, come on you useless thing. If you go search with Google, that is a price. And you can go to USD and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. There you go. So that is a price, right? So, as I say, as I repeat, if the dominance is going to go up, we're going to see these go down. Now, you probably look at that chart thinking, wow, that's pretty mental. And you got to look at the variation of this. Now, let me explain another little trick you can do. Now, if you're on the USD pairs and you're a little bit lost, right? On the top here, I have a metric, right? This metric is pretty cool. Now, you can do this in two ways. You can have a panel and you go to compare and then you add a panel. Basically, just go into there, add a new panel. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to edit this one. And I'm going to change it to the BTC dominance. BTC.D into the index fund, Bosch. Now, what you can do with this is, it's very, very simple. You can look at the USD pairs and think, right, cool, what's happening? Yeah. But the main one you want to look at is actually the BTC pair on here, and then you've got the metric. So if this is going down, you're going to start noticing the prices are pumping. And you can see that historically, right? From the alt season here, that pretty much started from, well, basically all the way up here, basically, let's be honest here. We were melting all the way down, so we were going down, apart from this little spike up to the upside. But when we look at the entire year of 2021, melt, 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 melt. What's happening on the lower one? We're going up. But now what is happening, and this is starting to go up now. From this point here, it's starting to go up. If that does carry on going up, we're going to see this go down. So that is where the opportunities will come. You chart this pair, the BTC pair of your altcoins, if this is starting to rise. Then you'll start to notice places where it could go. And you'll see this with a lot of assets if I look at Polkadot. You know, we've been rising up from this point here. We've been melting. This is one of the main reasons why I sold a bit of my Polkadot at this point here, because we rejected a key level and the dominance started to trickle up. It's a dangerous recipe if you don't know what you're looking for, right? So if you are looking to focus on certain things, but another thing as well, you can skip all this and just look at the BTC dominance chart. And if you start noticing it going really high, and then all your altcoins are at a really low level, and you then notice that Ethereum is all the way down here in this pair, and you've got some BTC, well, just buy it. Just buy it, and then when it goes up again, sell it for BTC. Get extra. Or, if in that case the USD price has gone up, sell a bit in BTC, sell a bit in USD. Winner. Make sense? Cool. So sometimes it actually works out being better in BTC, even though the BTC might be going down in USD. Obviously, if you want to have some stables to buy BTC lower, you can do that too. But sometimes holding an Ethereum or holding a decent coin, yeah, you may be quite level on USD for a bit if BTC is doing well, but you might actually be losing Satoshis, which is not good. Make sense? It's a long video. It's quite a hard one to get your head around, but you need to be careful. This, having a panel up here, being whether it's the total market cap or whether it's the, you know, the BTC dominance, depending on what pair you're looking at, is massively, massively important. Now I do that for, you know, for USD pairs, it makes sense. So I can see the overall market. Why would I want to buy when it's below here? I don't. Let's see where it goes. But for me, the metric people are not looking at will be the dominance chart. It always is. Always is. If you can spot low BTC pairs and you got BTC to use, utilize it, because they will go up eventually. Because the dominance chart is cool. When the hype returns and you can then sell your altcoin into BTC, it's new wealth, and then compound it. Cool. If you like my stuff, leave a like, leave a comment, all kinds of good stuff. And I'll see you again very, very soon.